Almost 20 Democratic candidates are running for president at the moment. All of them are competing to be the wokest of all. But almost every Democrat backs racial reparations now. How do you stand out? Well, Cory Booker has an idea. Reparations for drug dealers.
Do not talk to me about legalizing marijuana unless in the same breath you talk to me about expunging the records of the millions of people that are suffering with not being able to find a job.
Booker doesn't just want drug convictions expunged, he wants monetary reparations too in the form of job training and community reinvestment for those impacted by the war on drugs, which means federal dollars to his political supporters. Nathan Rubin is the founder of Millennial Politics, the author of Boomers to Millennials, Moving America Forward, and he joins us tonight. Nathan, I'm glad you're here to explain this idea. So just for a little bit of context, we're currently right in the middle of the worst drug epidemic in the history of the United States, maybe of the West. More people die of drug ODs every year than die in car crashes, than died during the entire Vietnam War. And it's in the middle of that that Cory Booker wants to send tax dollars to drug dealers. So tell me why this makes sense.
Well, I don't think Cory Booker is actually talking about sending money to drug dealers, but what he is talking about is for nonviolent drug possession charges, whether it's...
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said people with marijuana charges. Very few, I mean, there's some, but... Okay, no, very few people with personal possession charges went to prison for marijuana in the last 20 years. Some did, but very few did. Almost all were people who were accused and then convicted of dealing drugs, intent to distribute. So these are drug dealers.
Well, over the last year, over 600,000 people have been arrested and charged with marijuana possession. So those people are certainly feeling the effects of being arrested for marijuana possession. And when you look at the rates of usage of marijuana, blacks and whites use equally, but a black man is almost 4 times as likely to be arrested for marijuana possession. So the law, the enforcement of these policies is structurally discriminatory, and what Cory Booker is saying is that we need to do a better job of reinvesting in these communities if we do decide to legalize marijuana. There's no denying that some of these communities have been negatively affected as a result of the war on drugs.
Have they been negatively affected by using drugs at all, or is it only the fault of law enforcement?
Well, what we do know from
we can't admit that now. Wait, hold on, no. The war, look, the war on drugs. I'm not defending the war on drugs. It's just that everyone's always blaming the system, structural racism, the police, but does taking drugs itself have a negative effect on your community? Are we not allowed to admit that anymore? Do we have to say, oh, no, no problem at all?
I think we should separate the use of something like marijuana from the other Schedule I drugs like methamphetamines or heroin or something like that.
Do you think smoking weed every day makes you more sick? So hold on, can we just be real for a second? No talking points. No, because you're going to give me the same talking points. I want you to finish answering my question, which is, does using drugs hold your community back? Does it hold you back at all?
What does hold these communities back,
does it or not?
Tucker, let me answer your question, please. What holds these communities back is children without parents who are arrested for possession of marijuana. I can tell you those families are better served by having 2 parents at home not being arrested for possession of marijuana.
You know that I agree with that completely, and one of the reasons I was so infuriated by the hysteria over family separation is we do separate millions of families over time, American families, with our punitive legal system. So I agree with you on that. But I'm trying to ask an adult question, because all of the blame goes to the system and the cops. If you do drugs, including marijuana, all the time, does that hold you back? Simple question.
And I would reply that a conservative principle is to have the freedom to do what you want in the comfort of your home.
But I'm not upholding, I don't even know what conservative principles
are. Cigarettes.
I'm not interested in principles. I'm interested in reality. No, I just want an acknowledgement of reality, real life. Politics aside, conservative, liberal aside, if you're high all the time, does that hold you back?
I guess so.
Yeah, it does. It does big time. And we should say that, in addition to all the other things we say. Being high all the time, being wasted all the time is a disaster. And no one has the stones to say that. They're not saying that.
Hold on a second, Tucker. I think what this conversation is failing to take into account is that marijuana has medicinal qualities. Over 33 states have some form of medicinal marijuana. 10 have fully legalized it.
Well, I don't know.
Keeping it
cocaine has medicinal qualities
federal
too.
level, we are
and so does
preventing these
alcohol.
people we're preventing small business owners from investing in their communities, and we're losing out on valuable tax revenue.
Oh, valuable tax. So degrade the population to make the government richer. Okay.
But what's happening at the end of the
It's
day
the most
is
cynical
that
thing I can
marijuana
imagine.
sales are just funding drug cartels in the black market. Colorado, for example, had marijuana sales over the last year over $1.2 billion. That's $270
There is still a
million
thriving
of
black
tax
market.
revenue.
Now we're wading into stuff I know a lot about. We're out of time, unfortunately, but I hope you'll come back.
Okay.
No, not of course. I gave you 5 chances to answer a simple question, and you did finally, and I'm grateful for that. Nathan, thank you. Prosecutors say they want jail time